A false memory is a memory that has kind of been warped over time. It is based on a pre-existing memory that you remember incorrectly in some capacity. An example of that would be, there's a group of people that distinctly remember Curious George from the children's cartoon having a tail and using it to climb around and using it to balance on things. But in fact, Curious George never had a tail. He was never drawn with a tail, never illustrated that way. So it's an interesting example of false memory.
A specific memory that I have of one is whenever I was younger, I would always dress up in little ballet outfits. And one day I was telling a friend, I was like, yeah, I used to take ballet classes. And my mom was like, no, you didn't. And I was like, yeah, I went to ballet class. I can see it in my head, I was in ballet class, with people in there. I can seriously picture the little bar that you put your legs up on, just like that. I can see all of that. And she was like, Amanda, that was not real at all. And I was so embarrassed. It's oh no. I thought that was real.
There's one instance where I vividly remember getting a toy from my grandparents because I had been displeased about my brother getting a stuffed toy and I hadn't. So I had it vividly in my head that they had given me that gift in the bathroom after my bath time. And I had told that story to my parents and they had disagreed and said, no, we gave you that toy for Christmas. I fought with them over it, and it wasn't until a lot later where we were watching family videos where I looked at it and I saw myself opening the gift on Christmas Day, so that was an eye-opener.
Human memory can be very mistaken and confusing sometimes, and I remember even when I got married, I actually ended up tripping as I was coming out of the barn that I was walking from. I felt like I face planted and I thought I was covered in mud, and it was humiliating. I turned bright red. But in the recording, and from what my family and specifically my husband said, they really didn't even notice. Apparently, I was incorrect on how that went because the recording showed exactly what they said.
When I was a little kid, I got a scar on my eye from falling down. Well, I thought I got pushed, but the story that I remember is I was hanging out on my bike and this little girl was right next to me and she pushed me down and I hit my head on the stairs. My mom picked me up, took me in the kitchen and washed my face off, and she called the ambulance. The ambulance came out and they took me to the hospital where I got stitches. Real story, I was standing next to the girl, I tripped, I fell down. My mom saw it, she picked me up, washed it off and everything, called the ambulance came, they took me inside the ambulance, they wiped it off, and then my mom actually drove me to the hospital. But in my head, I remember the ambulance taking me, but it didn't happen.